Okay, real talk. I've actually been using skincare since I was 12 years old. Like the cleansers, remember the OG St. Ives scrub, the oxy pads, like all of the skincare products, you name it, I've tried it over the years. But the wild part here is it wasn't until I became a holistic nutritionist, like years into studying the body, that I figured out what was actually making a difference in my skin and in skin health. And what's crazy is nobody teaches you this stuff, like not your dermatologist, not your esthetician, not your BFF with glass skin. So I want to teach it to you right now so that you don't have to waste over a decade like I did using all of the products that are never going to get you the results that you're after. Because if you're anything like I was, you have breakouts that won't quit, even though you've literally tried every single thing under the sun to clear up your skin. So I really want you to hear me when I say this, that skincare doesn't start with your skin. Now, I know that may sound backwards, but hang with me on this because you can be doing all the things, the double cleanse, the exfoliants, the expensive serums, and still be breaking out like clockwork. And that's because what's showing up on your skin is just a message from what's happening inside your body. And I was so focused on all of those topical products and going for facials, I didn't even realize my body was actually trying to talk to me. But once I understood that, this is when everything shifted for my skin. I ended up building a framework that finally helped me understand my skin and support it long term. And this is the exact approach I now teach to my acne clients in the Clear Skin Solution. And I call it the 5 Acne Clearing Pillars. So if you are struggling with stubborn, chronic, ongoing breakouts, this is your missing piece. So I want to break all of these down for you and really make sure you stick with me till the end because pillar 4 is probably the one that nobody talks about and makes the biggest difference in your skin. The very first pillar is gut health. Now, this is a super trendy term we hear on social media all of the time, but a lot of people don't actually understand what that means for acne, and you have to. Now, I want to break gut health down into 3 parts because a lot of people assume, oh, I'm just taking a probiotic and I'm eating fermented food, so like my gut's handled. That's not the case. For our clients over in the Clear Skin Solution, when we're testing them and looking at their lab results, we see 3 core gut imbalances that need to be addressed or your skin's not going to clear up. The first one here is going to be low stomach acid. We see probably well over 90% of our acne clients are dealing with low stomach acid. When we don't have enough stomach acid to be breaking our food down, we're going to be malnourished. So our body isn't going to get all of the skin healing nutrients it needs to rebuild and repair. If we're not breaking our food down, it's going to provide a perfect little buffet for all of the bad bacteria and yeast to overgrow and become nuisances. This is going to lead to inflammation, which is going to lead to acne. And then if we're not breaking our food down, we often see bathroom issues like diarrhea and constipation pop up. And if we're dealing with something like constipation, we have to remember our body uses poop to get rid of excess toxins, excess hormones like estrogen, excess bacteria. And if we aren't pooping every single day, 1 to 3 times a day, all of that excess garbage that the body's trying to get rid of can actually start to reabsorb and recirculate through the body, which is going to be causing acne, triggering inflammation, toxicity, and hormonal imbalances. So here is where we really want to be making sure we're breaking our food down. This is where we could be using, say, a plant-based digestive enzyme. This is a supplement designed to help you break your food down. You could be using a digestive bitter or something called betaine HCl. This is going to help with low stomach acid. Go and check my caption because I have my free gut loving cheat sheet with all of my favorites for this year. Then we also want to be chewing our food really well because digestion begins in your mouth with your teeth and your saliva. So chewing really well is going to help with your stomach acid and also helping with your digestion and bowel movements. It's going to be eating enough fiber in the day. A lot of our clients are not eating enough fiber. We want to be aiming for about 30 to 45 grams of fiber in a day. And if you're wondering how do I know how much I'm eating, just download, a fitness tracker like MyFitnessPal and just for a couple days log what you're eating. And you're going to be able to see, well, how much fiber am I getting in the day? If you need to be increasing it, this could be coming from things like raspberries, avocado, nuts, seeds, quinoa, squashes, carrots, so many great sources of fiber. Then when we're moving into that next thing that we see for gut issues for our acne clients, that's going to be leaky gut. So this actually happens when our gut lining becomes irritated and inflamed. You kind of think of it like your gut becomes like a pasta strainer where these tiny little holes start to open up and allows for undigested food, particles, bacteria, toxins that aren't supposed to be in the bloodstream. They head into the bloodstream, which lead to inflammation, which is going to be leading to acne. So we can really start to repair our gut lining with avoiding those inflammatory foods like gluten, like the conventional dairy, like refined white sugars, like the refined oils, and instead opting for things like, say, gluten-free brown rice pasta, or maybe we're going with a coconut yogurt or a cashew or coconut milk. Maybe we are opting for extra virgin olive oil and avocado instead of canola. Maybe we're going to be using maple syrup and raw honey or dates instead of white sugar. These are all really great options that we can start including to start loving up that gut lining. And maybe we're going to be weaving in nutrients like a bone broth or an L-glutamine. This can be really lovely, or even an aloe vera can be really great for our gut lining. And then that final component of gut health that we absolutely need to be looking at for our acne sufferers is going to be infections. This would be a candida overgrowth, which is a specific yeast that when it overgrows in the gut causes mega inflammation and leads to acne. And this is probably one of the gut infections we see most prominent with our acne sufferers. The next one would be something called SIBO, which stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This is another big, infection that we're going to be seeing that needs to be fixed in order to clear up acne. And the thing with our gut infections is this is where we want to be using very specific antimicrobial supplements that are really have been tailored to your gut health, and then specific foods that we're going to be eating to making sure that we're killing off the yeast and the bacteria and we're not feeding it to grow. The next pillar, which is pretty popular on social media, is going to be detoxification. But when we think detox, everyone always think it's the liver. Absolutely, we want to be loving up the liver because he does over 500 functions in the body, including filtering our hormones. So if the liver is struggling, the rest of our body and our hormones are going to be struggling as well. Outside of the liver, we want to be looking at our lymphatic system, which lies just below the surface of our skin. You can kind of think of it as your body's waste disposal system. It's the garbage truck. It's going around and collecting intruders and flushing them out of the body. We can't forget about our kidneys. It has a bunch of jobs as well, including filtering hormones. So making sure that we're loving up our liver, our lymphatic, and our kidneys, and even our colon. So our colon, we already talked about how that's involved in poop. So making sure that you're having enough fiber and also staying hydrated. We want to be making sure we're having about half of our body weight in ounces in order to making sure we're having healthy bowel movements. Now, if we're looking at the lymphatic system, this is where dry brushing can be really helpful because lymphatic system actually relies on either manual stimulation, so physically like dry brushing or massaging your body, or muscle movement. So this could be, you're working out, you're walking, you're doing yoga. Legs up the wall, which is a yoga pose, can be really, really helpful for lymphatic flow as well. Then we can be moving into the kidneys. This is where we want to be staying hydrated, going easy on the coffee and the caffeine where that's going to be dehydrating us. So making sure we're having clean filtered water, as minimal as a Brita filter or all the way up to a reverse osmosis. Whatever you can do to help get cleaner water is going to be really great for your kidney health. And eating a lot of hydrating foods, this is going to be great for detoxification. So think cucumbers and melons and watermelons can be really, really great for this. The third pillar is probably the most popular and the most talked about pillar when it comes to acne, and that is our hormones. Now, when it comes to hormones, the sex hormones get all of the attention, right? The estrogen, the progesterone, our androgens like testosterone. And while they do have a play here, we have to also be looking at insulin, which is our blood sugar regulator, and our cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So a lot of imbalances that we see for our acne clients is going to be something called estrogen dominance, where we have too much estrogen in the body or too much estrogen in relation to progesterone. So this is where we can start to see maybe more cyclical acne popping up around our cycle. Maybe we have too much androgen, so maybe you're going to be seeing a spike in your breakouts around your ovulation. But when we get our gut and our detox organs in tip-top shape, 9 times out of 10, your hormones are able to self-regulate because they've been given the tools to do so. Then if we're looking at, say, blood sugar, this is probably one of the most important hormones with our insulin that we want to be regulating, because when our blood sugar is sent on a joyride, that happens from skipping meals, from relying on coffee and not eating until 2 p.m., from only eating refined carbohydrates like having a muffin and a bagel and a bag of chips and whatever it may be. This is going to be sending your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. When this happens, there's a domino effect that leads to an increase of sebum in the skin. Sebum is a sticky, oily substance that clogs our pores and leads to breakouts. So this is what happens in our skin when our blood sugar is off. Another thing when it comes to our stress hormone, cortisol. Cortisol is also going to have the same impact where we're getting an overproduction of sebum in the skin, which is clogging our pores and leading to breakouts. So this is why when we're working with our clients, we heavily work on blood sugar regulation through having stable, consistent meals. So eating, 3 times a day, having snacks in between if we need it. And at each one of those meals, we're having protein, fiber, and healthy fats. This could be something like we're having chicken with chicken being the protein, then fiber is going to be, say, a bunch of vegetables. Maybe we're having some avocado. Maybe we're doing a salad. And then a healthy fat could be the olive oil that you're drizzling on your salad. Or maybe you're having that in a smoothie where you're doing protein powder, you're doing hemp hearts, which is giving you protein, fiber, and fat, and really making sure we're having those at each meal because that's going to keep your blood sugar levels stable. And then when we're looking at our stress hormones, this is where we want to be setting boundaries, saying no, getting out of that constant state of fight or flight. So, including some type of stress reduction practice for yourself, whether that's deep breathing, that's meditation, it's tapping, it's dancing, it's petting a dog, whatever is going to bring you stress reduction, let's start including it. And this next pillar is the one that nobody talks about, but it's pretty much the linchpin of the whole acne clearing game. This is going to be pillar 4, which is emotional well being. Now, if our nervous system is stuck in fight or flight 24/7, it is not going to be prioritizing clear skin. Our body isn't going to feel safe enough to heal. And I did not realize this at all. I didn't realize how my overworking, my chronic stress, my people pleasing, my emotional suppression, all of that was impacting my skin journey, but it absolutely was. This is where I want you to, again, bring in those stress reduction practices, find out something that works for you. This is where I want you to be getting quality sleep, because if we're not sleeping, this is going to impact our nervous system, our stress response, and our skin. I also want you to start setting boundaries. If you say yes to everybody, I want you to start asking yourself this one question. It changed my life, and it's been something I've been practicing for years. It is, by saying yes to somebody else, am I saying no to me? This really helped me change my mindset. And also, speaking about mindset, learning how to overcome the negative self-talk that us acne sufferers have always had. The you're not worthy, you're unlovable, you're ugly, you're gross, nothing's going to work for you. Start catching yourself when you're saying these and start reframing it. Because if we are always talking so negatively to ourselves, I'm such a big believer and big advocate that our internal thought environment. So catching yourself and saying, no, I am lovable. I am beautiful. I am worthy. This is so, so super important. And I have seen this time and time again with the well over 3,000 clients I've worked with all over the world. When they really, really pull in that emotional well-being, this is where the magic happens with their skin. And pillar 5 is one we all love to talk about. That is skincare. Now, I'm a big skincare girly. I love my skincare. So just know that it's not about overusing products. It's about using the right products to be nourishing your skin barrier. This is the issue with acne sufferers. If they have overdone it with their skin products, they're using all of the harsh topicals, they're over exfoliating, using all of the medicated topicals, which is destroying their skin barrier and their skin's natural microbiome. Yep, you have a microbiome on your skin just like you do in your gut. And when these two things are destroyed, we're going to be dealing with higher level inflammation in the skin, more redness, more irritation, and more sensitized skin. So we're going to be reacting to more products. So this is where I really want you to be pulling back, stick to nourishing ingredients like ceramides, niacinamide, maybe things with aloe, green tea extract, all of these really nourishing ingredients. They're going to be helping to repair and rebuild the skin barrier. And final thing about skincare, stop changing it every other week because you see a new product trending on Instagram or TikTok. Our skin, just like our body, thrives on consistency. So really give your skin that 30 to 90 days to start seeing progress in your skincare game. So that's it. The 5 acne clearing pillars that I straight up wish I knew all of these years ago to save myself all of the time and frustration and wasted money on all of the skincare products and treatments that I was trying that wasn't working. And this 5 acne clearing pillars is the exact method that we teach to our clients in the Clear Skin Solution. So if you are in serious need of some help, come and join us over there. You can click the link below in the caption to learn more about working with us over there. And hey, drop a comment. I would love to know which of these 5 pillars do you think you've been missing most of, and I will give you a quick tip to get started.